Hello and welcome to Sports Update and TVC Breakfast Saturday. The weekend is packed with all the intrigues that will keep you glued with a touch of greatness on your favorite club, players, and the frenzy that engulfs the controversies. I am Mark Otabo, and I'm flanked with my beautiful co-host right here, TVC.
Thank you for having me, Mark. It's good to be here.
Good. And of course, I got my guest in the building as well, Samuel Akpan. Good to have you here too.
Morning, Mark.
It's a busy weekend already, and we understand
that
the games are up and high. And we understand the game between Man United and Arsenal is exactly what everybody is looking forward to, talking about the Super
Exactly,
Sunday.
it's a big one. Arsenal at the Emirates against Manchester United. It can't get any bigger than this.
Samuel Akpan, I mean, I understand that a lot of frenzy is already surrounding this. You know, these are some of the games that gives the Premiership the heritage that it's enjoyed over the years. Now, from what you see and from all the reactions we've been getting on Twitter so far, do you see anything short of what might be a victory for Ten Hag? Because Ten Hag, sometimes you almost want to underrate him. You know, you underrate him at your own peril, but sometimes he just shows up and he just delivers. But so far, there's been a lot of question mark around his personality lately.
Yeah, surely. And I think these questions rather, are very much important, necessary that they are asked, because you look at the start they've had to the season, it's pretty much what they've also had last season. It's always a slow start for Man United every time they kick off the Premier League season. But we know the successes they also had last season, you know, going on to qualify for the Champions League. But you look at the way the other teams are shaping up this time around. Arsenal, we know how well they did last season. And coming up against Manchester United, I think it's another way to tell United that they're far off. I mean, the transfer window only ended last night, and you can see how United really performed, not to the very best, but you just look at the other teams performing, and you see Arsenal.
The last 5 times that these two sides have met, they've always produced a winner at the end of 90 minutes. And for Manchester United this time around, trust me, they have started very slowly, and just like he said, it has always happened in recent times. But for United, underrate them at your own peril.
Right.
Because I know that when it comes to matches like this, they tend to step up. Against CT2, you see them bring up their A game. They have the Bruno Fernandes, who has highest rate right now in terms of creating chances for the side, and for Arsenal, against Arsenal as well. So I would not want to write them off against Arteta boys on Sunday afternoon. I expect them to do well. I know Erik ten Hag would like to at least come out strong on Sunday and try to win this one.
All right, moving on, all right. I know we're coming back to this banter if we have the time. Now, Man City's record-breaking striker, Erling Haaland, has been named 2022-23 UEFA Men's Player of the Year. He scored 52 goals in 53 games across all competitions last season. A hand to handle, as we understand that a full look of this season's Champions League group stage draws. Now, Manchester United are paired with German champions Bayern Munich in Group A, with FC Copenhagen and Turkish side Galatasaray listed, while Group B has European League winners Sevilla up against Arsenal. PSV Eindhoven at French club RC Lens. Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen will lead his Napoli side against 14-time winners Real Madrid in Group C, with FC Braga, Union Berlin joining, while Group D has Portuguese champions Benfica facing last season's runner-up. Now, let's look at the Champions League draws.
Social media, Bayern Munich made a teaser at Manchester United.
All right, it's right there on your screen, the Group A, Group B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And of course, it's which particular group here right now storms a lot of questions?
It has to be the PSG group, the group of death. I think every one of them are almost on par, except for the fact that when you have Kylian Mbappe in your team, it gives you that edge a little bit. But then they are almost on par, and it's going to be very difficult to see who will come out second and third from that group.
I can imagine. Now, what a way to welcome Newcastle to the Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely. But for the money bags that day, certainly, I think they'll fancy their chances. Like she said, it's a very interesting group. Paris Saint-Germain at the moment are not particularly high-flying in the start of the season they've had. Newcastle and the likes, I think we might just see a group where the winner of the group finishes with something like 8 points.
I'm telling you,
at the
it's
end
going to be very difficult.
It's going to be very, very, very.
And there were also issues regarding Mbappe's stand at PSG. There's a new report saying that he might sign a new contract at PSG, then obviously have a release clause to jet him off to Real Madrid. But we all thought he was going to Real Madrid. So hopefully his presence there might, maybe this is his last
season.
If he's going to stay.
It speaks a lot about his commitment. Are they just doing this for the money, just to save face? Paris Saint-Germain, obviously the biggest player in France, national team captain. You don't want him going through all of these controversies. I just think his mind is made up. We all know he's going to end up at Real Madrid. But again, it's all about how much he's willing to give to PSG at the moment.
Sure.
So which other teams are you looking forward to doing great? Obviously.
Well, I would want to give a shout out to Union Berlin.
Union
These
Berlin.
guys, their story has been very fantastic. They went to the relegation back to back in 2004 and 2005, and now they're here from the Europa League to the Europa League Conference, and to see them in the Champions League and then face Real Madrid in the Champions League as well. It's really, really big for them too.
All right, we have to just quickly move on to transfers now. Chelsea have signed England under-21 forward Cole Palmer from Man City for initial £40 million. The deal includes a further £2.5 million in add-ons, and the 21-year-old has signed a 7-year contract with the option of a further year. Now, Palmer was part of England's side, which won the European under-21 championship earlier this summer and is a product of the City Academy. Of course, Liverpool have agreed a deal worth £34.3 million to sign midfielder Ryan Gravenberch from Bayern Munich. The 21-year-old Netherlands international joined the German champions from Ajax last summer, but has struggled for first-team football. Now, the Reds have already signed 3 midfielders this summer in a refreshing, and they're trying to refresh their midfield following the departure of 5 players, including captain Jordan Henderson. Now, obviously, nobody saw Cole Palmer's signing coming. There were a big question marks. Who is Chelsea going to sign now? But why would Pep even allow such a young guy to leave? Because he was already basking in his glory.
Yeah, but then again, we can also say City have made some very incredible signings from rivals as well. I mean, Kovacic joining from Chelsea speaks a lot. I mean, bags of experience and all. Cole Palmer, he was always going to be very difficult for him to break into that City team with the way that we're going with the signing. So I think he, according to what we heard from his very first interview for Chelsea, he did speak a lot about the project Chelsea was selling, which we can also say, I mean, all of the players they've been signing, they all talk about the Chelsea project under Ted Boehly. So that's something that was very exciting for him. But I can understand why City are letting him go. There seems to be this sort of brotherhood or love, which we haven't seen in a long while between Premier League sides. And we can also talk about Arsenal getting Mason Mount, getting Kai Havertz from Chelsea. So it's a new era for Premier League side. So I think he's going to fancy his chances playing at Chelsea. Right
TSC, quickly, before we move on to the next Klopp obviously missed out on Caicedo and Lavia, but he decided to go for Gravenberch. Do you think this would cut out for him?
Young talent, let's not deny that. For Bayern Munich to have signed him in the first place, it wasn't just a very good one that he didn't get too much games under his belt. But let's see how he would do well at Liverpool, because we know Jurgen Klopp knows how to bring out the best in players. We saw it for Salah, we saw it for Roberto Firmino coming from Hoffenheim, and then, of course, we saw it with Sadio Mane and co. So let's see how it goes.
All right, now, it doesn't just be about all football. We're moving on to athletics right now as Noah Lyles won the gold medal in the 100 meters at the 2023 World Athletics Championship in Budapest, Hungary on August 20th. Last 26 ran the race in 9.83 seconds. Let's get to hear some reactions coming from him, because it's been quite remarkable and he's made headlines so far, you know, dissing the NBA family. And we have our guest standing on Zoom to actually take us through that.
Roar from the expectant crowd. Great start from Coleman, we expect that. Can Lyles come through? It's very, very tight. It's Noah Lyles! The champion roars once more. Tobogo ran really well on the far side.
The thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times, but that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
All right, well, as it is right now, we have to go straight to our Zoom guest, Yemi Galadima, Managing Editor, Making of Champions, is standing by. Yemi, good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
And of course, the whole controversy regarding Noah Lyles is quite interesting. And it's quite obvious that this statement he made has caused a lot of ripple in the NBA family. I mean, what do you make of what's going on at the moment?
I think that was a very interesting conversation or opinion. And it's got people talking, definitely. But I do not see anything wrong in what Noah Lyles said, right? Except we're trying to define or redefine what world really means. So he talked about the NBA being called world champions, and really, what is wrong with what he said, right? Like a world champion or world championships should consist of people, teams from different countries of the world. And while some people might say that the NBA has players that come from different parts of the world, do they actually go against these people as teams or as countries rather? Do you face them country versus country? Because that is when a world champion emerges. And yet, the NBA is not the only sport in the US that does that, right? Like even the baseball league have what they call a World Series.
Yeah.
But really, those teams that play in the World Series, are they from the world or from the US? So I think it's a great conversation starter, and it's something that's going to bring attention to athletics as well. Because in spite of the American domination in track and field, you see that it's not among the top sports in the US, really. So this is a great conversation to have, and I think a lot of people now will get drawn to track and field in the US.
All right, Yemi. Now, what we've seen now with Noah achieving this beautiful feat, do you think we have come back to the era where we now enjoy athletics? Because obviously, when Usain Bolt retired, it seemed like there was some sort of darkness in that part of sport.
Yeah.
Now, do you think Noah has brought back that light that we've always experienced when it comes to the track event?
Definitely, definitely. He's brought a lot of attention. He's someone who has quite a personality. He has a big personality. And so that will definitely help in terms of rebranding or improving the image of the sport. He's bringing attention. It's just like Sha'Carri Richardson as well. People who have this sort of personalities that make people attracted to the sport. So we're seeing that in Noah Lyles. Is he the next Usain Bolt? Well, time will tell, but definitely he's someone who is drawing a lot of attention to the sport right now.
All right, finally, before I let you go, what do you think is going to be happening now? Because, of course, the Jamaicans have been toppled this time around. Do you think the US would be able to sustain this?
No, definitely. US has always been dominant in track and field, especially at the World Championships. They've stayed at the top of the table, the medals table, ahead of any other country. So this is something they've consistently done, and it's something you expect them to do. Of course, even the fight with Jamaica is mostly in the sprints. It's not just in every other event, but the sprints especially. But we see US also winning medals now in events like the shot put, like in the women's discus throw, they won gold and silver. In the hammer throw, they had silver and bronze. So it's not just the sprints now. They're also moving to the field events as well and doing quite well there. They have the depth that it's difficult for any other team to meet, So that makes them very, very unique. That gives them an edge. And yes, we expect to see that sort of dominance continue, but other countries will continue to challenge as well.
Thank you very much, Yemi. I hope, thank you so much for actually joining us. I hope we'll be having you subsequently when we need you, please. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate
Bye.
it. All right, TSC, finally, before we run, now you haven't dropped your predictions for the Super Sunday game, Arsenal and Manchester United.
I'll go with goals. I'll go with goals, but then I would love.
Goals. You're playing safe now. Don't do this.
I
now.
really want United to win this one, but it's going to be difficult. But I expect them to win this one.
Your prediction, quickly.
It's going to be a blowout. Arsenal 3, United 1.
Arsenal 3, United 1.
Yeah.
So you want me to put my money on that one?
Yeah, sure.
You can
take that to the bank.
I'll say United 3, Arsenal 2.
All right, that's about it for the sports update. Not